The shift that unfolded around Caitlin Clark did not happen quietly or gradually. It erupted like a tidal wave that the WNBA was completely unprepared to handle. The league had spent nearly 3 decades fighting for visibility, clawing for attention, and struggling to establish a profitable identity in a crowded sports market. But the moment Clark arrived, all of that changed. Overnight, she became a force bigger than the league that drafted her. Her influence extended far beyond basketball, far beyond Indianapolis, and far beyond anything the WNBA's infrastructure was equipped to absorb. Players saw it. Fans saw it. Owners felt it in real time. And the reaction across the league wasn't subtle. There was discomfort. There was resentment. There was jealousy. Some players masked it behind competitive edge. Others admitted it openly. But no one could deny that Clark's rise created a power imbalance that the league had never experienced before. Much of that resentment came down to money. Players who had spent years building their reputations watched a rookie instantly command endorsement deals that dwarfed their combined earnings. Even with critics arguing her representation could have negotiated even more, the fact remained that she was pulling in financial opportunities that seemed impossible just a year earlier. And while some WNBA players celebrated the new attention, many felt overshadowed. They didn't like that Clark had become the gravitational center of the league. They didn't like the cameras following her every movement. They didn't like that every arena she entered transformed into a national spectacle before she even checked into the game. So when opponents pushed her around, when they tried to humble her physically, when they refused to acknowledge her impact, it wasn't just competitive spirit. It was frustration expressed through contact, a way of reclaiming space in a league where suddenly they felt small. Meanwhile, far away from the courts and the rivalries, the story that mattered most was unfolding inside boardrooms and financial offices. Because beneath the drama, beneath the jealousy, and beneath the headlines, Caitlin Clark wasn't just lifting the fever. She was reshaping the business of women's basketball itself. For years, the Indiana Fever had operated at significant losses, the kind that forced even generous owners to question whether investing in a WNBA franchise was worth the effort. Herbert Simon continued signing checks anyway, loyal to both the Pacers and the Fever, anchoring the teams financially even as attendance dwindled and local broadcasts drew only modest viewership. The Fever were a respected team with passionate fans, but financially, they reflected the league's long-standing struggle to turn attention into meaningful revenue. That all changed the second Clark entered the picture. Her arrival triggered one of the most dramatic financial transformations in modern sports. The attendance spike alone was unprecedented. A team that once filled a quarter of its arena suddenly had sellouts every night. A franchise that once prayed for 4,000 fans was now averaging over 17,000. Every game felt like an event. Families traveled from out of state just to see her shoot. Opposing teams scrambled to upgrade their venues to accommodate the surge of demand whenever the Fever were in town. That demand translated directly into revenue. By standard sports business calculations, the Fever likely brought in tens of millions in new ticket sales in a single season. Playoff appearances only added more fuel to the financial fire. And because the WNBA uses a revenue-sharing model for road games, Indiana was earning real money every time an opposing franchise moved its game into a larger arena just to handle the Clark effect. Television viewership followed the same trend. Games featuring Clark pulled in numbers the league had only dreamed of. National broadcasts that once drew niche audiences suddenly broke into mainstream visibility. Clark's presence boosted ratings not just for Indiana's games, but for any matchup she influenced: highlight shows, pre-game coverage, talk shows, streaming clips. Every mention carried weight. Every broadcast segment increased leverage for the league during upcoming media rights negotiations. Even though television revenue is shared equally, it was clear to every owner who was driving the surge. Sponsorship deals surged as well. Companies that once hesitated to invest heavily in a mid-market team were suddenly eager to attach their logos to Indiana's growth. Gainbridge, the arena's naming sponsor, saw an explosion of visibility across social media, broadcasts, and national coverage. That kind of exposure transforms contract negotiations. It creates premium value. It redefines the entire business landscape for a team that once struggled to justify modest sponsorship prices. And then there was merchandise. Clark's jersey became the best-selling item in all of women's basketball. Her shirts, posters, and collectibles sold out repeatedly. Restocks vanished instantly. Fanatics, which handles WNBA merchandise, reported numbers the league had never seen before. For Indiana, merchandise revenue became a reliable and powerful stream, the kind of financial contribution that changes long-term forecasting models. This wasn't a spike driven by novelty. It was a sustained explosion driven by a generational talent whose influence extended well beyond the sport. And Herbert Simon, a man who built a billion-dollar real estate empire, understood exactly what the numbers meant. That understanding led to the most telling financial decision yet, a $78 million practice facility investment announced for the team. 3 stories, 2 regulation courts, medical and wellness centers, an infrastructure commitment that surpasses anything the Fever have ever had. That kind of decision doesn't get made unless ownership sees the revenue trajectory and trusts it. Simon isn't a gambler. He's a strategist with more financial experience than almost anyone involved in the league. If he was willing to commit nearly $80 million to the Fever's future, it was because he saw the revenue numbers the public couldn't. He saw the profit margins. He saw the projections. He saw the long-term value of building a franchise around a player who isn't just a star, but a business engine. That facility will attract veterans. It will attract future draft picks. It will anchor Indiana as a premier destination in the league. And it signals something far bigger than a single player's success. It signals that women's basketball has entered a new financial era. Other franchises are now racing to find their own version of Clark. Expansion talks have accelerated. Investors are calling. Player bargaining power is increasing. Salaries will eventually rise. And collective bargaining negotiations will be shaped directly by the revenue explosion that Clark created in 1 year. So while fans debate her talent, while critics argue about her treatment, and while players wrestle with jealousy, the real story is about money. The Fever went from losing millions to generating tens of millions. Their franchise value exploded. Their sponsorship leverage doubled. Their media visibility tripled. And Herbert Simon's investment proves he believes this isn't a short-term spike, but the beginning of a new era. The entire league is watching, and every team is asking if they can replicate what happened in Indianapolis. Now the question turns to you. Do you think this financial surge is sustainable? Do you believe Clark's impact will continue to elevate the Fever and reshape the WNBA? Or was this an extraordinary spike that will be difficult to repeat? Share your thoughts below. And if you want more powerful deep dives into the business and drama behind women's basketball, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next breakdown.